This is where it all started, in a quiet classroom at Eagle View Middle School. Here, 28 of Cumberland Valley High School's most ambitious students, and a few adults, began preparations for what we modestly call the geologic adventure of a lifetime, Geo 97. Geo 97 is the latest edition of a program of enrichment geology classes which began in 1985. Offered on alternate summers, this unique full-credit summer school course concentrates on teaching geology by example. Convinced that seeing is believing and learning, students learn stratigraphy, geomorphology, dinosaur paleontology, and much more by visiting and exploring classic geologic localities in some of America's most famous national parks. For 22 days and more than 6,000 miles, the Geo 97 students would travel across America. They would be engrossed in ice ages, lost seas, ancient deserts, and extinct volcanoes. And they would come face to face with some of the vanished life forms which once ruled the continent. Geo 97 began on June 23rd with a week of concentrated geology instruction. Then, early on the morning of June 30th, primed and ready, we stowed our gear under the seats, between the seats, and on the seats of our 4 yellow Dodge vans.
Okay, if you don't have anything better to do now and you've said goodbye to your parents, let's find a seat in the vans and get ready to leave, please.
So, with final farewells to parents, siblings, and spouses, we buckled our seatbelts and headed west. Our first geologic roadside stop was only about 90 minutes down the road. Here on I-68 near Cumberland, Maryland, highway engineers have exposed an enormous syncline. Once horizontal sedimentary layers from ancient ocean bottoms, beaches, and coal swamps have been folded downward and revealed for all to see, where the interstate cuts through Sidling Hill in the Appalachian Mountains. On to Lexington, Kentucky, and our first campground, Kentucky Horse Park. This was our first meal of the trip, breakfast on the morning of the second day out.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Oh, here we are eating breakfast.
Happy days are here again.
The highlight of day 2 was Mammoth Cave. But before exploring the longest cave system in the world, we set up camp at Maple Grove Campground. Access to this primitive campsite was by ferry boat across the Green River. With some time to kill before our first cave tour, the Geo 97 students visited the River Styx Spring and got in a little amateur spelunking.
Watch out! Thank you. Somebody in the midst trying to stand out here because I don't want to take this in because I'm afraid I'll get it real dirty. Good. Wow, a snail!
I don't think I see.
Who cares about the dark snail? Just move back, bye.
I want to.
It's a three-toed sloth! Are you going in?
I'm not going in, guys. I just want to go and see the very front.
Can we stop at the Frenchie picture?
How do you go back there, far? Can you stand up in there?
Will someone call up into the open space up there? And
Will someone hold my camera while I put my long-sleeve shirt on so it's nice safe? Yeah, I don't even
just
have
give
a
it to
flashlight
Jason.
with me.
He's not going in.
Well, I want to take it.
Just like, take a seat. You get strapped in there and almost freeze. Right down here. Very clever. Let's go, guys! Come on, lady.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta look at your face.
What seats? Are there any empty seats? Two. Two seats back there.
There's 2 seats back there.
There's 2 seats.
2 seats and like 2 people. 2 people. Yeah.
School buses carried us to a remote entrance to Mammoth Cave where we learned more about cave geology from a Park Service guide.
Well, like I said, we're going to be entering the back door to Mammoth Cave. Well, there it is. You didn't think it was going to be a door, did you? Yes, it is actually the back door of Mammoth Cave. Behind that door lies 350 miles of Mammoth Cave. And today we're going to see just a small section of it. We're going to be going about 3.
Mammoth Cave is known for its spectacular pits and domes. On this tour, we descended 250 feet down a narrow stairway to the bottom of a deep pit.
Narrow steps.
Going down.
Narrow steps.
This is really cool. I love it. Almost missed that step.
The Frozen Niagara tour took us into huge rooms and long corridors.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Are you okay?
It also showed off many traditional cave features such as stalactites, stalagmites, pillars, and flowstone.
Oh, wow.
Most parts of Mammoth Cave have no formations because an impermeable layer of sandstone prevents water from seeping in from the surface. But here, formations abound.
Mine doesn't focus, so it doesn't matter. Look. Right down here. Somebody like the dirtiest thing.
Time to relax after a long day of caving. We rode the chairlift, raced the go-karts, and jostled each other on bumper boats.
Having fun, yeah. Swing, like you're swinging. Like we did the other day.
Girls, you're supposed to get Garrett wet.
I don't think so.
All right, that's your job.
There's no total saturation.
You look like your mom, Anna.
Yes, she does. You know, your mom looks like...
Our 4 yellow vans were a place for listening, reading, sleeping, and hopefully learning. By the end of day 4, our caravan had reached Hinton, Oklahoma, where we camped at Red Rock Canyon State Park. Our stay at Red Rock was tarnished by some unpleasant experiences with other campers. But when these pictures were taken, everyone was enjoying climbing the Red Rock walls of the park.
We're just seeing this thing that we thought was a cave. But gee, we've decided that we can't quite see in that cave.
Look, Bethany, an arm, a head.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my!
Look!
A t-shirt. A
Who is this coming in here? Oh my gosh! It's...
Look. Who
Is it a prehistoric man?
Could be. Could be.
I don't know. It's...
It's
Mr. Conrad! Oh! And how long have you been in that cave, Mr. Conrad?
Been there longer than I care to say.
So that makes you old?
On the road again on the 4th of July. In the distance, the peaks of the Sandia Mountains. Our Independence Day supper in Albuquerque, New Mexico was cooked during a late-day thunder shower.
Dripping.
And served under a spectacular double rainbow.
If you don't like sauce and you want
Lunchtime on day 6 found us in Grants, New Mexico, climbing a bluff to get a look at the Coconino Sandstone, a prominent ledge former in the southwest. Later in the day, we visited the Painted Desert and the Petrified Forest. These hostile lands, badlands in geologic terms, have seen human habitation for thousands of years. Ancient Americans known as the Anasazi left these interesting petroglyphs on many of the rocks in the region. In the Petrified Forest, 200-million-year-old fossil logs are exposed in the volcanic ash and floodplain deposits of the Chinle Formation. Some of the best specimens of petrified wood lie off the trail and required considerable effort to reach.
Oh, should I keep going?
Let me get a shot of these guys coming down from the top.
Like the proof that we're...
Wow.
Whoa.
But then you'll be dead. That might be the one.
Conrad's filming.
Somebody get a picture of this arch. They don't have my camera.
Petrified Forest not only provided an opportunity to view these unique fossils, but also gave us the perfect natural laboratory to study weathering and erosion.
Yes, I did.
Griffin, Ryan called you a loser.
No, I didn't. Amy did.
No, he didn't. You did a very high falsetto.
While geology was the primary focus of our trip, viewing and discussing the biology of this desert region was unavoidable. In Petrified Forest, we were treated to a rare look at one of the Southwest's most identifiable mammals, the pronghorn antelope. With superb weather and crystal clear nighttime skies, many of the geo students decided to sleep out under the stars. Waking them in the morning was not always easy. After a nourishing cold cereal breakfast, we went looking for some petrified wood we could collect. Using directions from a KOA employee, we found a 6-foot-long log just a block from our campground. As we gathered petrified wood, we discovered this remarkably green collar lizard, a common reptile in the Southwest.
Green part a little bit too.
Oh my gosh. Look how he's changed. Look, his head was like purple.
He's so scared.
He is so blue.
Astronomy and geology, astrogeology. The two sciences meet, literally, just east of Flagstaff, Arizona. Here, the Geo 97 students had an opportunity to get a close-up look at the best preserved meteor impact crater in the world. The Barringer Meteor Crater, or simply Meteor Crater, is a mile wide and 600 feet deep. It formed about 50,000 years ago as a boxcar-sized rock fell onto the Arizona desert from space. From the rim of the huge hole, we received an informative lecture from a colorful tour guide. This is the Bonito lava flow at Sunset Crater National Monument. The dark-colored lava formed during an eruption of this volcano. Today, the volcano is known as Sunset Crater. This particular flow originated about 900 years ago. Called A'a, a Hawaiian word meaning blocky, the lava flow contains innumerable caves and grottos in and beneath its surface. Because of its unique insulating properties, large chunks of ice, perhaps years old, can be found mixed in with the rocks. Around an evening campfire at Sunset Crater, some of our Geo 97 students provided us with some homespun entertainment.
I said like a boom.
I said a boom like chickaboo.
I said a boom like a boom.
I said a boom like a chickaraka, like a chickaraka chickaboo.
On July 7th, we arrived at Grand Canyon. No amount of geologic orientation, exercises, or lab work can prepare a person for this most awesome geologic spectacle. Our Geo 97 students, like Native Americans, Coronado's gold hunting Spaniards, and pioneer explorers like John Wesley Powell, were humbled by the canyon's immensity and beauty.
Wow. Look how big it also back there, too.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Okay, John, can I use your buddy?
Hey, go ahead.
The most complete exposure of Paleozoic rocks on Earth, Grand Canyon reveals more than 2 billion years of Earth history. Time of day, cloud cover, and air quality constantly interact to change the mood of the canyon. This special place has been the home of vast oceans, coastal swamps, and deserts as formidable as the modern Sahara, and all laid bare for close inspection in the layers of this mile-deep rock wall. Bright Angel Trail gives access to the canyon, and many of our students hike 3 miles down and a grueling 3 miles back to the top. Along the way, we pause to look at some of the curious and beautiful native vegetation and to get out of the way of the famous mule trains headed for Phantom Ranch at the bottom of the gorge. In sharp contrast to some of the creature comfort campgrounds which we had enjoyed, the 10X camping area at Grand Canyon was remote, quiet, and beautiful. Like true tourists, we waited along with thousands of others from all over the world for one of the canyon's legendary sunsets. It's day 11. Walking across a real Jurassic Park, the Geo 97 students descend steps crossing an 80-million-year-old field of petrified sand dunes. The destination? Something much more recent, an overlook for Glen Canyon Dam. This highly controversial electric power station has stemmed the flow of the mighty Colorado. Once red with sediments churned up in the desert lands to the northeast, the river below the dam now runs cold and green. We toured the power plant and got a great view of the 700-foot-high dam from the top as well as the bottom. In the powerhouse, 8 huge generators built in Pennsylvania are at the ready to meet peak electrical demands from customers as far away as Oklahoma. What happens when colorful lake bottom limestones, mudstones, and sandstones are fractured, then faulted, and then eroded? Bryce Canyon. Well known for its spectacular pinnacle weathering, Bryce is actually not a true canyon, but a heavily weathered landscape of hundreds of intersecting smaller canyons. Spectacular from the rim, once again new views and new secrets are revealed as the Geo 97 class descends into Bryce's depths.
Chris will stop you. Chris, come on.
Everybody go down, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Conrad.
Chris, come on. Chris will stop you if you keep going.
Chris, watch out, I'm going down all the way.
I can stop you.
Okay, stop.
Okay, everybody just get down. I think I did it.
Come on, Griffin.
I'm here.
That's fun.
That on purpose.
Oh, man, my butt hurts now. God.
Kelly Davison poses for the camera in front of an erosion remnant called a hoodoo. And a few ambitious students decided to take an off-trail route back to the rim. From Bryce, We traveled southwest to a genuine canyon. Cut by the less than pretentious Virgin River, the cliffs of Zion National Park tower thousands of feet above us. From a biological perspective, Zion is unique, containing botanical islands representing a variety of climatic zones. Here, for instance, at Emerald Pools, a plentiful supply of water seeping from the porous Navajo sandstone combines with temperatures in the 90s to create a lush tropical-like environment. Perhaps the highlight of our visit to Zion was a hike into the Narrows, the upper narrow part of Zion Canyon. Unfortunately, exploring the Narrows means wading or swimming, which meant leaving the video camera behind. Wrapping up our day in the Narrows, we escaped from 2 weeks of camping food with a full-course dinner at Zion Lodge.
Well, John, did it come up to your expectations?
Yeah. Sorry, this is the first time I ever tried these.
From Zion, the Geo 97 expedition headed east to Moab, Utah, and Arches National Park. Arches is more than giant holes in the red Entrada sandstone. Its great walls and sculpted erosion remnants make it a classic example of Southwest Canyonlands geology.
Should I tell them to turn around?
Yeah, they can go all the way down, then come back. Wait till they all get to the bottom and then tell them to turn around and come back.
Okay, that makes more sense.
If this scenery looks familiar, there's a very good reason. Arches has provided the background for numerous films and TV productions and even commercials. Exciting just to look at, the geologic marvels of Arches are even more fun to explore on your own. To get a close-up look at the Colorado and its canyonlands, we spent the better part of a day rafting some 30 miles down the river. Needless to say, geology took a back seat to water battles and just having fun.
Somebody stop Griffin!
Drive out, we got the camera out.
Smelts behind you! Smelts, watch out!
Back,
Behind you! Matt's deaf. Griffin's gonna be on. Griffin's gonna make a strike and get all their buckets. Hey Charlie, wave! Abdul, I'm coming for you!
Abdul! So funny.
Be prepared for a third camp!
Pick up the whole camera.
You're the shooter. Stand up. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We got this on tape.
Yeah, we got it.
The experienced boatmen and women of Adrift Adventures occasionally gave us a turn at the oars.
Somebody's pair of shoes. This one with the boat.
The placid look of the water is deceiving. We did get a shot at some of the Colorado's legendary rapids.
My rear end was dry
Yeah, well,
with the warm.
Off the road in our Roar Econobus vans on a safari, looking for dinosaurs. Working in conjunction with paleontologist Jonathan Cooley of Dynamation International in Fruita, Colorado, we set out in search of dinosaur remains. Getting there was half the fun. Bumpy fun.
Hey, did you see that pterodactyl?
Looks like a great blue heron does.
Looks like an eagle. I can't see what is over that edge. Oh my goodness. Yeah!
Mr. Cooley explained how dinosaur remains became entombed in the Jurassic Morrison Formation. Containing more dino remains than perhaps any other collection of layers on Earth, the Morrison Formation extends from Colorado through Kansas and north into Canada. We found bones, lots and lots of dinosaur bones.
Here's a bone here. Did someone put their finger on the bone? Someone.
Right in there.
No, like right below it. Okay. Can you trace the margin of that bone with your finger? The edge of it? You know, follow all the way around it? Mr. Push up here. Come up this way.
Just the claw.
Comes in, yeah. Around. Okay, so you just defined a large and so what you just drew was like that. And can you see the organic texture? You can see little stripes. You can see actual bone. I mean, what you'd look like if you stole your dog's bone and he was chewing on steak bone and you looked at it. It's got the striations in it. On the outside, the long cortical bone cells, the dense bone cells, and on the inside, it's got marrow. This is the